can use my shower.
That's the thing. I was gonna use this one to.
Oh shit! I mean, we gotta go back this way because it's that way. Okay. Yeah.
Official Boston breakfast. Oh, what is this? Flocking Booze 35. Nice. Fuck. Thank you. That hurt.
Fucking heavy one?
Yeah. From like the depths. Alright, Cliff, I got one open hand. What you need?
Huh?
I got one open hand. What you need?
I got open hands. What do you need? You gonna take those?
Yeah, if you can.
It's right here. Yes. AK showed me where it was.
Huh.
I had no idea. I had 3 people walk up to it, even Benny, and he was like,
How you fucking put anything in it?
yeah. This is so fucking tight that they did this.
Uh-huh.
Yuck, baby.
And then Devin ain't even wearing a yuck shirt.
Bro, this shirt's shrunk on me after I washed them.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, so I'm gonna need to get an extra one.
A size up.
Yes, bro. That's what I was telling Bailey. I was like, depending on what the material is, I need the biggest size you can buy. Yeah. So when I wash it and it shrinks, it still fits good.
You gotta breathe.
Morning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember I was telling you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, twiddle.
Ooh.
Yeah, twiddle.
How you doing, bro?
Good.
Good.
My fear in killing me is bad today. Or this
good.
morning, I mean.
That's good.
Hey.
Oh, sorry, tell that on your first.
Taking everything on all tables.
Yep.
And figure out. I
got boobs up here?
Picture, bro. I had it all set up pretty at my house, and now I don't know how I had it.
Oh, dude, are you Zeg?
That's me.
Oh shit, dude, I did not know that. Checking out everything for the chaos started.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple little mini snaps for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we've got like just a bunch of creations from my brain. This is like our little plaza, so everything here is magnetic. You can just swap it to either side.
Look, dude.
And then the rails are swappable. These are magnetic. A bunch of stuff, man. We got this, call it the pocket table, so you can like put your phone and film. It's basically like a dab mat, but you can shred it.
Yeah.
This is a dab mat?
Yeah, so you can put your like rig here. We're dropping it on 420. Yeah, so you can put like your jars here. They fit perfectly. I'm putting fingerboard stuff just so people can see.
Just yeah.
I would have the rig here, but I don't know if that's too cool to have. But yeah, it fits all like 10 millimeter, 14 millimeter, your carb cap,
Oh, this
all
is
your
y'all.
all your pens.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
tight.
man. Yeah. And then anything you guys purchase, if you guys like get one of these, first 10 purchases, you get another free one. A little
Okay.
pocket table. Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
And we're working on custom letters too.
Yeah.
Yep. So far we've only made ABC, but
Oh, yeah, that'd be sick.
yeah, a couple legends and stuff.
Y'all made that part?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, the custom part, yeah.
Dude, holy
We do
shit.
that as
Oh,
well.
it looks like the SLS part.
Yeah,
right?
it's a
Holy
replica. It's like
shit, dude. How long did that take to make?
it took like 2 months to make.
2 months? Oh, yeah.
I
That's
cranked
still
it out
pretty
decently,
quick.
but we did that for an event in Michigan for everybody. We were trying to coordinate to get it here, but it was a little expensive. Like, it was just tough, you know?
Yeah.
Trailering it out here, but we're working on making our own custom board so we can bring it to events and just, you know, show off what we got.
That's fucking tight,
Yeah.
dude.
It was
The
sick,
SLS
man.
part, that's fucking sick.
We can use one of those.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, you can go straight through there.
Oh,
Go
okay,
straight through,
okay.
yeah, man.
We'll go around. How's it going? Good morning. Oh.
Yeah, they're board coming, yeah. Man, they're fire. Big fire, bro. You sleep alright?
Yeah, as soon as we got back to the house,
Like
I just, yeah.
But just in case. Was ist denn mit dieser Preisliste? Warum ist die wieder?
What's going on?
How's it going, man? It's good to see they made it.
Is that the new bowl? The new bowl?
Dude. Good try. She rides smooth.
Oh, with the little mini water.
Yeah. That's the Austrian? Yeah, dude. Dude, it's perfect, right?
I'm gonna try and I want to record as many tables as I can before like. Ooh, those are 36 dynamics.
Yep.
Good morning. How's it going? Pretty good. Good seeing you. What up? Holy shit, are you Flocktex?
Yeah, I happen to be.
I don't know who this guy is, struggling to put together a little.
I'm making sure it's sturdy. You know what I'm saying?
My dude, how you doing?
Yo, how's it going?
Hanging in there, my guy.
Oh yeah.
Did I got one off a cliff?
Oh, Brandy, did you get any hot takes yesterday?
I didn't for the. He didn't ask me about them.
Oh,
We were
okay.
we were talking about con stuff.
What up?
Good morning. I'm here with you, right? Stamp? To get inside of here. What is this? How do we?
What are you talking about?
What do I need?
I have no idea. I got my ticket right here.
5844.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, this motherfucker.
No, Vito told me just get the 4 wristbands and then give them to you, Jaden, and Matthew.
Oh,
There
okay.
is someone who has.
We over here.
Alright.
I didn't know if I was supposed to be over here.
No. I'll get the wristbands.
Cool. Thank you.
How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
What's your number?
5358.
53.
Ryan and me just got here. Sorry, we're a little late today from Loft and Lucy's. Do I need to like sign
Wait.
anything?
53.
Yeah, I gotta go remove my car.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm a bit slow. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
that's fine.
5358. Can you hold this real quick?
Yep.
2 tickets and a board, right?
It was 4 tickets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For some reason, it's separate.
Oh,
4
okay,
tickets,
okay.
4 boards.
Yeah. 2 shirts, 2 boards.
2 shirts, 2 boards.
Yes.
Kannst du hier durchgehen? 5358. Zweimal müsstest du so eine und dann unten so eine größere. Ja, aber erstmal die beiden Boards. Okay. Oh, that's why it's separate. It's 2 boards, 2 shirts. Now
Oh,
I
that
get it.
makes
Now
sense.
I get it. Okay. Alright, so off the list. 5358.
Yep.
2XL, yeah. Okay, so take them from the bottom. That's 2 boards in there. That's 2 boards. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 tickets. And then 2XL shirts.
Mike, with all those maples still up in the room?
Yeah. That's it? Yeah. 5358. There you go.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Got all my stuff.
Really, yeah, honestly, like, for real.
You wanted me to get this? Oh, yes. I was like, where did you get it?
Yeah, that's why.
That's my thank you.
Is it hollow or
Hold on. This shit's sticking to my hair.
You got your coffee? Yeah.
Do you lick it? Oh, I see.
You got it?
Yeah.
Do you lick it? Do you lick it?
It's a little like, it looks like a little like.
Alright, these are for Jaden and Matthew.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wanna text Jaden and tell, let y'all know, or let someone know when they're here?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to hold it down for a couple seconds?
Yeah, I got you.
You wanna put these behind you or something?
Yeah. These are your shirts?
Yeah, the shirts and the boards.
Yeah, dude, I had to, and it was so funny because
Huh?
we got in the car.
What do the boards look like?
They're just Berlin woods with the engraved Fingerboard Con on them.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what I think. Yeah. Yeah? Okay.
Extra wide.
Yeah. What up?
My goal is to have room in the car that
Well, they're gonna go to the other stand. I don't know how that's gonna work. But
well, so we'll just leave it for now. If they have it, we'll move it. Otherwise, I'll set up.
if you need muscle, I'm here.
Okay, so.
Heard. Like try to get that middle piece. Everyone. Early bird.
Yep.
Or yeah, or whatever they want.
Thank you.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, how's it going? Good morning. How'd you sleep last night? No.
I just couldn't sleep. And I went to the other hotel, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It was like I kept waking up every 15 minutes. And my dreams were like about Fingerboard Con.
You're giving it to us right now.
Unless you really want to do it.
What about like accidental table ball?
I was thinking a little bit.
Oh, sick. How much do you guys have the car wheels for? 40. Okay.
Testing audio. Hello. Hello. Testing, testing. Hello. That good? Live? You ready? Ready to start? Fingerboard Con 2. If you can hear me, put your hands in the air. Stop fingerboarding for one moment. Let me just have a word. Fingerboard Con 2. I appreciate you guys for coming. Fingerboard Con 2 is going to be an experience. Shout out Flatface, shout out Six Gate, Black River. Shout out Slush Colt. This is going to be an awesome experience. Thank you guys for coming. When it comes to fingerboarding, it's an incredible experience. I mean, it's one of those things where we're all here for the same reason. For fingerboarding, right? Mini skateboards. And so it's one of those things where it's just incredible how far of a reach it has. There's people here from all around the world that have come from miles and miles away just to be here, just to fingerboard, just to share this experience. And it's incredible. This is going to sound kind of funny coming from me and kind of ironic, but in an age of the internet, posting clips and edits with your friends and unboxing and vlogging, it's great. It pushes fingerboarding, but nothing beats showing up for fingerboarding in person. Nothing beats the community aspect of it. So I just want to appreciate you guys, or just say thanks and say I appreciate you guys for showing up, because one of the easiest ways you can support fingerboarding is by showing up. And every one of you showed up for fingerboarding today, and I appreciate you for it. Sorry about that. What we're going to do today, appreciate you guys. What we're going to do today is we're going to have a bunch of trading, buying, selling, tons of vendors outside. Be sure to check them out. Be sure to support all the vendors. And we have 3 panels. The first panel coming up is going to be with my buddy here, Chris Daniels. Now, when you talk about fingerboarding Mount Rushmore, if that's a conversation, there's a couple names that are always included in the conversation, and Chris Daniels is one of those names. He's a walking encyclopedia when it comes to fingerboarding and skateboarding, and I say that with so much respect. He's done so much for the community in his long time, 1998. Sponsored by Flat Base, Berlin Wood, Black River, and yeah, he's going to be talking about the history of fingerboarding. So definitely pick this dude's brain. Anything you want to know about fingerboarding, please participate. You know, hang out with Chris. He has so much to talk about, and get those questions ready, because at the end we're going to have an open discussion about the history of fingerboarding. Chris Daniels.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, like what Chris said, thank you so much for showing up. Really what at the heart of the community is being in person together. You know, when I started in 1998, I would have never expected something like this. We have people from all over the world here, from Chile, Germany, people from Canada, and all the people that came over from the West Coast, from the South, you know, insane. And shout out to the people that sponsored this event, so shout out to Flat Base, putting on the rendezvous. And then also for Fingerboard Con, 6 skates and the crew there, as well as Slush Bowl. Couldn't have been done without them, and it's so much more worth it to come for a full weekend when before it was 5 hours. So again, thank you for putting this on, guys. So, does anybody know who invented fingerboarding? Anybody? Okay, we have Lance Mountain. Okay, so Lance Mountain. That's an extremely good guess, but he actually learned it from somebody else, one of his friends, Hernan Troyer. So that was back in the 70s, late 70s there. And as far as I know, we don't know who invented fingerboarding at all. So skateboarding's been around since the 50s, when people would have these little tiny boards that they would put together with roller skating wheels. And as far as I know, who knows, maybe fingerboarding started shortly thereafter. We have no clue. But what I can tell you is that we do know that there are fingerboards that were around in the late 1970s, which is crazy to think about, and it's just wild. So I'm really happy you brought up Lance Mountain. So for those that don't know, Lance Mountain started fingerboarding in the late 1970s as well. He got his first board from Hernan Troyer, who put it together with popsicle sticks for the deck, and then would just put together with Hot Wheels, have a little balsa wood axle there, and that was your first fingerboard, right? Now shortly thereafter, Lance Mountain, about 5 years or so later, was in the Powell Peralta video Future Primitive, and that was the first time we saw fingerboarding in the mainstream, for at least for skateboarding. In there you'll see him, Tony Hawk, you know, the legend Tony Hawk, Mike McGill, and the whole Powell Peralta team, Steve Cab as well, fingerboarding around a stake, which is really crazy to think about the origins there. And they had these homemade decks that Lance Mountain would actually make. And it's interesting, all those Powell Peralta guys, they all had fingerboards that were given to them by Lance Mountain. And some of them is actually posted. If you go online to some blogs, you can actually see, like Steve Caballeros was talking about his first board was given to him by Lance in 1980. So fingerboarding's a lot longer. And actually, originally I had a PowerPoint deck that I was going to share, and I was going to say Tech Deck invented fingerboarding. But no, they were the ones that brought it to the masses, right? So, after that video came out, there's a little bit of a mini fingerboard craze that came out, and you can actually see within all the old skate magazines, you'll see all the different companies that would have what they offer in certain panels and advertisements. And you'll see the accessory section of fingerboard keychains. And you'll see like Vision would do that, H Street, Powell Peralta, and this was around 1985 on. And the cool part is I have one here that's from 1990 here, that's by this company called Precision. And the deck is here. I'm doing an unboxing and a little bit of this, and you guys can see what an old fingerboard from the late 1980s is like. We're gonna open it together. But the first company to actually really publicize and get fingerboard out there was a company called Somerville International. who did their first prototype just after Future Primitive in 1985. And you may know them if anybody was around in 2000. Remember the old McDonald's fingerboards? That was by Somerville International. They have the fingerboard brand fingerboards. So I have a lot of those. I'm sure some of you have them too, with the old stair set and the cartoon characters on them as well. And yeah, they were the first big ones to really do it. They were partnering with all the companies back then, making fingerboard keychains, just to be clear, because every single one of them back then had a little hole at the top that you could attach it to your keychain. But there's so many people that started fingerboarding from that time period because they saw Lance Mountain. They had these keychains that would be at skate shops all over. People like Martin Winkler started back then, and Dennis Steemack's another person that started back then that some of you may know. And I figure we might as well start off by unboxing this. And if there's any questions about that time period, we can go through and ask any Q&A first off that. If anybody has any questions, just raise your hand and you can stop me really quick too. And so I figure I'll just pass this around in its clamshell first, and then we'll open it up while I talk more. Yeah, so as it comes around, you'll notice that the deck is still plastic. It has a clamshell. It has a Zorlak graphic, and I think the graphic is actually by this famous artist called, is Pinhead? No, it's not Pinhead, it's Puzzhead. I believe that's who made the graphic. He was a big-time graphic artist back then, did graphics for Zorlak, among others, and some metal album covers. And so this setup would come with a bag and a tool. The wheels are rubber, and the trucks are plastic. And you can see that the deck's plastic, as I mentioned before. And so most fingerboards were like this up until around 1998. And I'm sure some of you may know who I'm about to talk about next. And that's the Granddaddy Tech Deck, who came out in 1998 by a company called X Concepts. And that's actually when I started. So, who here was fingerboarding in 1998? Anybody remember? Got Levine here, Steven, Samoa Dave. So back then, I'm sure you guys remember how it was everywhere. It was just after, I think, like the Pog and Pokemon fad was around that time period. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing tech decks. They were everywhere in lunch cafeterias. And that's around the time period I started. So I know a lot about that time period as well. So back when I started fingerboarding, there was no online community, no Instagram, there was nothing, and we had nothing to go by off of. And I think you'll see that a lot of people who started fingerboarding around that time, your style was kind of self-developed, and not until 1999 when Tech Deck partnered with 4-1 Magazine and did Fingers of Fury, as well as Flying Fingers. Did we actually have some sort of reference of what was possible with fingerboarding, like what tricks could be done and what a good style was and the type of tricks you could do. So Fingers of Fury, I believe, was the first one of the two that was released, and that had fingerboarders such as Darren Langhorst, Matt Johnson, Damien Bernadette, and Tony Potex. Two of them were from France, and actually those two founded a company called SBS. They were one of the pioneers in making fingerboards before Tech Deck was even around 1996. And they had a video called Fingerskate Embryo, which I have a PowerPoint presentation with some clips there, and it's so cool. If you have a chance, go look it up on YouTube, Fingerskate Embryo by SB. And there's a clip of Tony Potex doing this kickflip transfer from a bathtub all the way to a sink, and it's about 4 feet. It transfers all the way over, and it's really cool to see what people were doing back then without having any reference outside of their own friends. And that one video from Lance Mountain. And then after that came Flying Fingers with Matt Johnson. And who remembers the old TechDeck.com fingerboard tutorials? Some of those clips were from that, and that's Matt Johnson. I had the pleasure of meeting him a few times and talking a lot with him, and he has so many clips. And in fact, the second fingerboard tour he was on, and that was in 1989. Him and Matt Johnson, Pat Wells, and Dan Watson went down to Chile and Mexico together. And they were going all over the place with Coca-Cola and Fanta, doing tours of professional fingerboarding at all these different schools and clubs for the youth and stuff. And you could see some of the crowds in this unreleased video called Flying Fingers 2, which Matt Johnson was unable to release due to copyright. But you'll see like the preview of it, of this whole crowd of like people cheering for these people fingerboarding, which is wild to think about back in 1999. We actually have some folks here from Chile. I'm looking for a couple right there. Do you remember D2? Yeah. So the whole program by Fanta and Coca-Cola was called D2. And they had these boards that they would give out. Oh, a little bit closer. Oh, thank you. Okay, so they had these boards that they would give out in exchange for bottle caps. So you would be buying Coca-Cola or Fanta, and you can exchange it to get a promotional fingerboard. And I'm sure, like, I've talked to people from Chile, Mexico, some of the fingerboarders that started back then, and they were saying that was, like, really important for them in their fingerboard journey. And then, so after that, 2000 came around, and we start to see an online community forming. So the first English-speaking online community that was on the internet that I'm aware of was a forum called techdex.com. It was actually a website with a forum, and they had rankings and everything. It was only around for about 6 months because they got shut down with a cease and desist letter from TechDeck. TechDeck ended up probably purchasing it from them, and then we had a hiatus for about a year and a half or a year or so before TechDeck actually revamped their website with the forum. Man, I'm rambling on. Oh, thank you. And the next, for the American English-speaking community, we had a board called Fingerboard Jabber, which was around 2000 as well, founded by a guy named Rodrigo Ortiz. That only lasted for like 3 months, and then we again had no place to go. So really the community was kind of dying down at that point until there was a website called fingerboarders.net. And again, that had like a ranking system, a message board and all that. And it was a really fun community to be a part of. We had like IRC chats that we could talk real time to. Not too different from like Discord, honestly. And then that again, died again. So then we had no community for a while until there was 2 forums that came out around 2003. And that was Finger Flipping, which is also known as FFI, which some of you may be members of, and also one called Red Zone Fingerboards Forum, which was called RZF. RZF was the elitist hardcore community, invite only. That died probably because of that. And then FFI was invite part of the time, but usually had open registrations for about a month every year or so people could get in. A lot easier to get into, a lot kinder people. And then that's how the community started going, the online fingerboard community scene. Now over in Germany, they had a very vibrant community, both online and in person, which we didn't have in the US. But the German-speaking community had websites like fingerskating.de, which was a big site that we used to go and see a lot of. That had events from 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. And you could go on the website, see the rankings, you could see videos of all the pro fingerboarders like Martin Winkler, Toga, Sebastian Kiefer was another big name that we would watch. And then we'd see all these ramps by this company called Black River, these massive parks. And we're like, oh my gosh, these are so cool. And because the only thing we had in the USA was really, there's TechDeck, there was a ramp company called Buckle Down, that their main line of business was belt buckles, and their other side gig was making these fun box fingerboards, half pipes and stuff like that. And they were plastic, they weren't wooden, keep that in mind. So when Black River came out, we would see all these events over there. They're touring all over Europe, all over Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and everything. So we were all like looking over there and saying, wow, this is so cool. And it wasn't until the Rendezvous when that actually started to change. And I might as well talk about the Rendezvous history while we're at it. So who here knows the story of the first Rendezvous? So Tim knows a lot. So the first Rendezvous, Mike hosted probably, what do you think, 2007? 2006?
I think it was
2006, probably something like that. I don't know the date off the top of my head. But he posted about hosting an event, and then there was a group of people from New Jersey that said they would come, and that was Taylor Rosenbauer, John Conrad, and then was John Contra, and then Conrad Muscarella, maybe? 3 of them from New Jersey. Yeah, all of Taylor Rosenbauer's friends, and then Mike and Pat McGinn. Like the day before, Taylor Rosenbauer said that he couldn't get a ride over, they were not gonna come. And then that morning, they actually, no, we're gonna come run away. And that was the first rendezvous, 5 people. Next one had double that number, maybe like 12, 13 people, kept on growing and growing. And then by 5, that was the first one that was actually hosted outside of Mike's house at the Knights of Columbus. And that was my first rendezvous actually, so I flew in from Seattle for that event. And there was probably 100-something people there. And it kept growing and growing from that point. Black River first came to the rendezvous was Rendezvous 6, which was like, I went to that, it was such an epic event. Not as epic as this actually, but pretty close. First time we got to meet all the Black River team in the US. And then from there, fingerboarding continued to grow and prosper. And so I figured at this point, I might as well open it up for some questions, because I know a lot of people have different questions from different time periods, and I could ramble on for 40 minutes straight about fingerboard history and pull out stuff, but I would be curious to see what you guys have. So if you have any questions, just raise your hand, I'll pass the mic over, ask the question, I'll answer.
You spoke about in the beginning of fingerboarding how no one really had a style, it was only everything they developed. What was some of the first tricks you did?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So the first tricks that we learned how to do was probably like a pops up or 360 flip, and I think it's interesting. I want to share how I learned how to fingerboard really quick. Let's see if I can find my fingerboard. I have a fingerboard right here. So instead of having my hands on the fingerboard like this, my friends and I, we learned how to do it by chopping, like kind of like chopping down. There's an ollie, right? And we learned how to do kick flips that way, 360 flips. And we didn't know that you're supposed to have your hands like on the board. And I guess back then there was no rules. And so that's how we learned. So the tricks would have been like ollie, tray flip, kick flips. We used to do native spins on top of our Coke bottles. I'm sure some people here have done that. It's super fun. Ollie Impossible is like my favorite trick. Nollie Impossibles back then. Yeah, great question. Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, Steven, thank you.
When was the trick that Chris Daniels created? And yeah, and how?
Okay, so Stephen Cohen asked, when was the trick the Chris Daniels invented? It's a good question, because the Chris Daniels that some people know as a trick wasn't the first Chris Daniels trick. So the first one was actually, I made a video part in 2004 for a company called Vegas Fingerboards. And in that video, I did a switch ollie. I grabbed the board like this and brought it back. Kind of similar to a trick that's pretty popular now called the Denny-Politan. And that was actually called Chris Daniels initially. But for the trick you're talking about, which is a nollie flip, body varial, pivot or reaver, I think I first did it in 2005, and then probably Taylor Lucas, or what do you think? Taylor Lucas probably started using that term. Oh, Chris Daniels. I think it was Rendezvous 3 video. He just said Chris Daniels over and over again, because I basically would spam that trick in my videos over and over again. Thank you for the good question. Anybody else? Oh, Tim?
Talk about some of the ramps.
Awesome. So Tim asked, talk about some of the old ramps that you used. I'm actually going to talk about some ramps I didn't cover as well. So the first ramps pre-Tech Deck, or around the Tech Deck time period that I would use, pre-Black River, right? Okay, so like for Tech Deck, I had every single piece from Tech Deck back then. And I found all those pieces recently, and my neighbor actually still had all the old pieces too. My favorite was the old Tech Deck Fun Box. Some of you may remember it. There was like the blue version, which was one big piece in the middle with an 8-stair with a rail, and then they had a bank, a quarter pipe, and then a bank with a rail down there. That was like my favorite ramp. And it was something that was fun because we could actually compare ourselves to other people that were in the online community back in the day. Like, oh, this person did this trick on that Tech Deck 8-stair. Like, there's a guy who's not here today, but he was here yesterday, named Remy Banks. I remember when he did a nollie heel backside crook on the Tech Deck 8-stair. I know Tim knows. We were all blown, like, oh my God, that was such a crazy trick, which is a lot more difficult now. Fingerboarding skills a lot higher, and you know, a lot more obstacles and ramps. So that would be one. Another one was, I mentioned buckle down. I had a buckle down, I don't know where it went, it's gone. And there was also this like gray plastic fingerboard ramp You remember that one? Yeah, from Toys R Us, right? Had like the bowl, half bowl. Yeah, exactly. So Tim's saying it had the spine, the fun box. The worst kicker in the ever, right in the middle, was like this tall, this wide. Yeah, so that was one of them. And then a ramp, like if you're back in the early 90s or late 80s, you may remember this company called TNC Surf Designs. They actually had a Nintendo video game. They actually have a ramp kit, a mini ramp kit. And I was going to bring one, but it was made in the 1980s. It's wooden, made out of balsa wood. But then when I got the package, it actually had mouse droppings in it. I'm like, I'm not bringing that here. Plus, I wanted to save some luggage. So yeah, great question on that one.
As someone who was in the fingerboard scene back in the day, I feel like I've seen style evolve in a different way, but I'm interested to see your perspective. How do you think style has evolved from back in the old days till now?
Awesome, great question. So, in my perspective, obviously style is a lot cleaner now. The tricks are way more difficult than they used to be. I think part of that is we have a lot of people that we see that have been fingerboarding for 10, 15, and 20 years. And when you see the tricks that are done, and you see it's possible, it just unlocks this whole thing, and you want to learn how to do that trick. The boards are wider, a lot wider. The decks are way better, the trucks are way better, the wheels are way better. And I'm going to pass around a deck for everybody to check out. And you'll see, actually, 1 second. Somebody can do this for me. You could probably pull off one of the wheels because I know it comes off. You would have to deal with tech deck trucks. It has dual axles, which makes that let me find a wheel. The wheels will come off a lot. And the boards are a lot wider. We use grip tape. So we were a lot more lax and lenient with, you know, people's styles. You would do a trick and your finger might slop off the board, but it was close enough, we'd count it. Nowadays, that ain't flying. You got these accounts like Wrecking Ball FB that will call you out really quick. Have you been called out? Oh, okay. I've been called out, but not by him yet, so everybody gets called out. I'm waiting for my turn. Yeah. Good, great question. Yeah, and the styles are just so much cleaner. And I think it's a lot more varied too in some ways, but also less varied at the same time. Any other questions?
Alex?
Oh, Alex. Thank you, man.
So for me, like, where it all started for me was one of your video parts, dynamic symmetry. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, to me, that's fingerboard history and where it all starts for me. So if you could just talk about a little bit of what took to think of those kind of tricks and what made that video process, you know, what made that video happen?
Thank you, Alex. That's a great question. It makes me feel good too. So Alex is asking about a video I released in November, I think it was actually late October 2009, called Dynamic Symmetry. That was made in my dorm room in one night. But I was really into this filming with one, I think it's called Churrasco or some that one light effect, right? That's all I had in my dorm room that would really work was one light. And I would just wear all black clothes, so all you could focus on was the hand. And then I was doing tricks that I thought were really different back then. Some of them were really normal now, like the Switch Shield 5.0 is not a big deal anymore, but back then it was a lot more big deal. And I was just on this kick where prior to this I was releasing these type of videos almost every single day. And I think that was one of my favorite videos. I used After Effects for the introduction, and I really was practicing more, making something more cinematic, something that was different. And I was really inspired actually by this video by Alexis Gallant. I think some people here may have seen that, called Opus Zero, yeah. And so I was like, that was such a cool video, it's beautiful. I wanted to do something similar for my own, and that was the video where it was kind of an homage to Alexis. Good question. Anybody else? I'm gonna check on time really quick, see how I'm doing. All right, I've talked for 30 minutes so far. I'll keep going. I think we can do some show and tells, and how about I talk about Fingerboard magazine as one of the first dedicated printed magazines. This was, the editor for this was Tomas Hansen. He's a Black River writer. And he came up with this magazine, and it's the first actual printed production of this high quality. We had like online e-zines and some printed out versions that we'd had before that you could mail over to each other on the online forums. First time we had one of these. So I have 2 versions. You'll actually find me in both. Let me see if you can find me. So go ahead and go through that, check it out. And then I have right here, this is actually a new version of the board, but there was this company back in 2000 called Hell's Nails. And you'll see how much different it is from a normal fingerboard. And I'll talk a little bit about it. It's a gripless fingerboard, not meant to be used with grip. And you do your tricks back then. A lot of people did this without grip tape. They rode for their style without having grip tape, like Dennis DeMac used to do that, and a few other people. There's no grip on it. And so how you make this work, you put a little bit of pressure, and then you pop, and the board would kind of slightly stick to your fingers, but you could do tricks as well. Instead of these trucks and wheels back then, he actually used those pen erasers that you have for like art class, you know, that you pull out. He would cut those in half and use those as trucks, and that was your trucks. And it cost, I think it was like $3. You get this fiberglass board, and then you get you were responsible for your own makeshift trucks. So I'll pass that one around as well. Oh, forgot about this guy. We might as well open it up, and I figure people could come up after I talk and just check it out really quick. So this is that Zorlac Precision Fingerboard from probably 1990. I found it in a catalog that Zorlac had in 1990 for this exact same board, maybe even 1989. And I'll leave it there. People can go through it, check it out, touch the parts, see what they're like, see how different the boards were made back then. And then I think other than that, I'm trying to think what else I can talk about. Maybe any other questions? There you go.
Who is your favorite role model looking up to?
So the question is, who is my favorite role model? And I've had multiple role models. I can even run off, if it's cool, who were my role models when I first started, who a little bit after, and that would that work? Okay, when I first started, and I knew there was other fingerboarders outside of my middle school, it would have been the guys from Fingers of Theory. So it'd be like Darren Langhorst, Damian Bernadette, Tony Potags, and Matt Johnson. And specifically Darren Langhorst and Matt Johnson, right there. And then after that, there was this guy named Beau Marchand. He was probably 14 years old, but he was doing tricks that no one else were doing, super low, super clean style. I think if you took his fingerboard footage and pulled it out today, people would be really impressed by it. He was awesome. Obviously, like Martin Winkler, like really look up to him. Elias is Mike here. Mike's another one that I really look up to too. Jay. And then Nico Frank and Adrian Witzel. Like, those guys to me are like amazing fingerboarders. They're super consistent, stylish. They do hard tricks, and they're also creative as well. All right, in the back.
I was curious what your favorite trick was.
Okay, the question in the back was, what is my favorite trick of all the tricks of all time, right? Oh my gosh. That might take me a second. All right, you heard from somebody that you should ollie first and then flick out after, which like blew my mind for both skateboarding and for fingerboarding as well. I first applied it to skateboarding and learned how to do the ollie, hesitation, kickflip, and my kickflip looked so much better. And then maybe a couple years later, I was like, could this be done on a fingerboard? Could you wait and then push out? And it was really hard, still really hard to do that. So that's where I got the inspiration there from. And really it's about having the timing down. It's getting understanding about when you should pop, how long you should wait until you flick. And it's really fast, but as you do it more and more, it gets slower and slower to get more used to it for consistency. And then for consistency, there's little tricks you can do. If you're in a contest run, I highly recommend flipping bigger and slower. And you can actually watch the board spin around and then land on it. So changing your style up a little bit, if you're in a contest, for example, or in a game of skate. I usually don't change my style too much, but you want to win, that's how you do it. Nice, beautiful looping style. Yep. All right, any other questions?
I had a family thing yesterday, and I slept in a
Oh, Chris right here.
With as long as you've been fingerboarding, and as much as you fingerboard, how do you keep fingerboarding fresh? Like, how do you, still find it interesting all these years later?
Another, oh, they found me. You can see. What really keeps me in it at this point is all the people that are involved in fingerboarding, my friends that I've made over the years, the friends that I continue to make at every single event. Like, I went to New York City, met Jaren over there. Now he's a homie. And you meet people every single time. You have these great conversations. That keeps it fresh. Like, it's a huge magical spark. Because quite frankly, I do, as Stephen Coney's somewhere around here, he knows that I'll go in and out. Like, this is the reality. When work gets tough or I'm busy, school back in the day, you kind of stop and it kind of gets deprioritized. But then those events are what keep me going and inspire to continue to fingerboard. Thank you. All right. Oh, Jaren with the question too.
More of a comment than a question. If anybody wants to understand the ollie before kickflip idea, it works for every single trick. Every single flip trick you can think of. If you just think of, if you're doing a switch trick, do a switch ollie and then do a switch front heel. It works for everything. And if you want to see somebody else do it, watch Jeremy Ray, the skater.
Great one. Yeah, Jeremy Ray's another one that did that amazing. He also had like the best frontside 360s too. He was nuts. He did that crazy ollie over that gap as well. All right, if there's no more questions, any more questions? I think with that, I'm gonna call it good here. Please come up and check out the fingerboards that I have up here and check out the Fingerboard magazine. Feel free to flip through it and check it out. And just bring it back up here when you're done.
In about 30 more minutes, we're going to have another panel with Denise and Tobias from Black River on how to become a Black River Pro fingerboarder. Thank you.
Professional.
Thank you.
You ain't skating my shit, right?
No.
Okay.
What? What's that? Wait. What's it? Oh, the leg, the long dog, it's down here chilling. Dog.
Okay, cool.
We straight up protecting and serving right now.
Hell yeah.
Let me tell you. Start off the beat again.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah, thank you.
What's up, dude?
How's it going?
Did you get a shirt already?
How do you get them?
Oh, I just got this.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
First stickers.
So.
Yo. What do you gotta do? Yeah, man.
Actually, that's a
The legend himself.
Yeah,
dude.
they're good.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
How's it going?
What's up, dude? I'm Anthony. I run Gnome Fingerboards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Switch and put better bushers on them.
Let's get a.
That's tedious.
It's a lot, yeah.
Oh, she was getting that food drop with that one.
Oh, and you got
He's the man.
That's a lot.
Nobody understands that. It's insane.
That's what I said. I was like, oh, I couldn't get one.
Yeah, dude, they sold so fast. So fast.
I've seen you before too. What's your Instagram name?
Mommy finger.
Yeah, that's right. I follow you. Yeah, you ride for milk, right?
Well, no, I just like them.
Oh, you just okay. Cool.
Unless. Michael.
That's what's up.
This is different. Oh, that is too flat.
Yeah, I've got 3 different molds in there.
Oh, okay. What is the high kicks?
The height of the kicks?
Or like what would be your higher kick, deeper concave?
This one right here, the Beast. Yep. Different, nice rounded shape, dude.
Okay.
Yep. And you get a shirt too, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Only if you anything, if you get a note board, you don't get a shirt.
Oh.
Nope.
Right, nope.
Nope.
Which one?
That one right here with the little up
Yeah,
ledge.
that's it. I haven't session one at home. I love it.
I'll take these 2.
Cool. So it's $40. So it's $60.
All right.
Fingerboard Con 2. Has anyone in the room wondered how you can become pro for Black River? Because if that's ever crossed your mind, this is the panel. If you ever wanted to become pro for Black River, this is the panel for you if you try to become pro. When it comes to fingerboarding and you think of the most iconic brands ever, one of the names that comes up clearly is going to be Black River. And we are blessed to be talking to Denise, boss lady, CEO of Black River. We have Mr. Tobias. He's going to be the director of marketing for Black River. Take this as an opportunity to pick their brains, not just about fingerboarding, but about marketing strategy for your small business. Owning a business for, 25 years of Black River? That's impressive for any company. Anything you want to know about becoming pro for Black River, now's going to be your chance. They're going to talk a little bit, they're going to introduce themselves, and then we're going to open it up for questions. So get your questions ready, because I don't know about y'all, but I want to know how to become pro for Black River. Having said that, we got Denise, CEO of Black River, coming up first.
Hi everyone, nice to see you. We talk about how to get sponsored by Black River as a team rider. I will take over that part, and Tobias will do the part where you get to know how to get your event sponsored. So the first thing about fingerboarding is it's not golf or tennis. So I think a lot of people might think like you earn money or something like that, but fingerboarding is a niche sport. Like, it's not about making tons of money. So in general, we don't pay our team riders. They get material sponsoring, so they can request stuff, or if we have new ramps, we send it to them, or specials whatsoever. And yeah, in exchange, we take team riders on tour, for example, like Stolli and Hess, and pay the trip, so they have the opportunity to travel and visit fingerboard events. And sometimes we also get requests from big corporate companies or TV clips or so, and those are jobs we hand over to our team riders, so they can get some money there and then. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because I think most people have a wrong impression of what it is to be a fingerboard pro. So yeah. So what we expect from our team riders is that they are present, either online, like on social media, or on events. So we want them to be an active part of the fingerboard scene. Like, that's very important to us. And also that they represent Black River and fingerboarding in general well. So they also have kind of a role model function, I would say. Yeah, every once in a while we also have media production requests, and so for example, we have a new ramp, we send it out to the team rider, and then we want them to make a clip or something like this. In general, it's important that they are enthusiastic about our product, about our philosophy, and yeah, we also want to have product feedback, like we send out prototypes to our team riders so they can test it first, and then sometimes we adjust it just to make sure that the product is on point, I would say. Yeah, I mean, the main thing I think is we want them to actively create the scene. Like, we have team riders like Yellow, they do workshops. Other ones are more on social media, so it's a little different with everyone, but we want them to be an active part and to create, because this is from the beginning important to us. Create the scene, not just take from the scene, but create the scene. And yeah, so Stolli. We choose our riders, and it's not only about the skill, it's also that they are nice and cool characters. So of course we want them to be good at fingerboarding, but it's not the only thing. Just because you have have the best skills, but you're just, let's say, an idiot, you won't be on the team. Yeah, I said that before, we want them to be active in the scene, and we also have very old team riders who are maybe not the best fingerboarders, but they have been part of Click River from like hour number 1. So those were the first pioneers, and they belong to the family. And as I said, it's very important to be an active member of the fingerboard scene, and this is why we also sponsor events. And this is where I would give the mic to Fila, because he can say more about that.
Thank you, Denise. We at Black River do believe that events like this right here are what make the scene, what support and grow fingerboarding and our beautiful community we have. And that's why we organize and support events from day one. Like, Black River started back in 1999, and first Fast Fingers was in the year 2000. And to this day, we continue supporting and organizing. We have our own events, like Fast Fingers Online, like Snow Fingers. But we also support a lot of events. I looked it up for 2023. We supported around about 100 events, and with stuff worth around $19,000 that we put into the scene to help grow fingerboarding, to help grow the community, to make things like this today possible. And support also our shops that are clients with us, our team riders, our business partners, help them grow their local scene, because we believe that this helps fingerboarding grow and maybe become a sport. We come to that later. So how do you get your event sponsored? First of all, your event needs to be open to the public, and it needs to be good for the scene. To ensure that, we will ask you a couple of questions. First off, we have a 3-month forerun to the event to make sure everything we will ship you gets there in time, gets distributed in time, to make sure the event gets its marketing coverage. And then we will ask you the basic questions, like where and when will the event take place, how is it called. We want to make sure it is actually happening. That's why we ask you, how do you pay for the location you rent for? Do you hold every legal right to make this event happen? And we also want to make sure that we got the coverage we're looking for, right? It's not only about, supporting the scene and making fingerboarding pro is the #1 priority we have, but we also see this as a marketing strategy to make sure that we can sponsor events like this. That's why we want to make sure that we get the coverage we need. That's why we will ask you how you advertise your event. We want to make sure we are on the flyer, that there are flyers, how you distribute them, that we are covered there in a way that represents the sponsoring we offer for this event.
very crucial question for this is, are there other sponsors? We are asking that because we got a lot of requests where people like say, well, I've got an event. I'm thinking about 30 to 40 starters at the event. I already got 50 sponsors. That's not what we're looking for, right? We don't want to be one of hundreds of logos on the flyer. Get drowned in it. We want to make sure that we are there and support this event. Skip that question actually. Very important information for us is how many participants do you expect for this event? And then for sure we want to know what kind of event is it. Are you doing a proper contest? Are you just having a session and a raffle? Are you maybe having a very unique system for the contest? All of these will be asked. And the more information you can give towards this, the more it helps us to decide on whether to sponsor your contest or not, or your event or not, and also in which dimensions, how big our package is going to be. I've got some examples for you of events we sponsored in the recent past or ongoing contests, like for example flashcard shop sessions, like Christopher's Sunday sessions. There he is. We're sponsoring this one. All the Sorry for Fingerboarding events. Masters of Barcelona in Europe, which happens twice a year, I think. We just recently had the Dutch Fingerboard Open happening in the Netherlands.
All right, thank you so much for giving them your undivided attention. Now we're going to move on to questions. So again, fingerboarding, marketing, growing your business. They've been in business 25 years. They're definitely doing something right. This is your opportunity to pick their brains and really just dive in deep. Let's open it up for questions. Do we have anyone to start? Any questions? All right, here we go. Question numero uno.
I'm just wondering if you had advice for a lot of us who are small brands, just making stuff out of our garage and growing it into more of a brand with employees or help where we could distribute and get more product out to more people, make our stuff quicker. Just advice for growing the brand side of things.
Advice for growing a smaller brand.
I have to think for a second with what to start. I think one important thing is the same what I said for the team riders, like be an active part of the scene, like show up, be present, like do your social media shit. I mean, there you can obviously reach a lot of people, and yes, also start creating the scene on your own, like do events, invite people. That would be my main, my main ideas. I mean, not ideas, this is what we do, kind of. So, yeah, I think that's the thing. Be present, do events, maybe if you have a chance, travel, spread the word everywhere you go. Yeah. And also, like, if we are always keen on selling products, like different brands as well. So if you have the option to have reseller prices, like we are always happy if we like the product to resell it on our web shop as well. So of course, if someone does like a pole bank copy, we won't do it. So it's up to us whether we think the product is great, or in addition, like there should be something creative about it. Like it should have your own, like your own touch, you know. Did this answer your question?
Do you have any advice about increasing production, help with getting out more product if you can't meet demand?
Too much demand without the production. Kind of wrap up.
I mean, that's a hard one. Every once in a while we struggle with this as well, like because the demand is higher than what we can produce, especially because most of the stuff is handmade or like all the boards are assembled in-house at our headquarters. So I get that. I mean, like what we do, we look for other producers so that you're not only depending on one, but maybe have three for the same product. And basically, I mean, we do internet research or call the local economy office, or I don't know what the English word is for that, like, you know, like an administrative thing. You can call for companies, whatever. I don't know what you produce, but like you can ask for, do you have woodworkers, or, you know. So this is what we do then. If we get problems, we just start research.
Yeah. Basically, it's the same for both questions, right? If you want to grow, you got to grow the space you're in, right? Grow your community so your reach will grow, which might hurt a little more with production than it does with advertising, because in advertising, well, you do more, it doesn't cost you that much more. Ramping up production hurts a little bit more because you got to invest more. But grow to grow, it's that.
Thank you so much for the question. Do we have another question? Marketing, social media, production questions about the brand? You have a question?
Say I sell a fingerboard, how much should I mark it up?
He wants to know if he sells a fingerboard that you made, correct? If he makes a fingerboard, how much should he be marking it up to sell it for?
I mean, you have to calculate what material you put in, for sure, and then how much work you spend on it. So, and I don't know, like, what an average American wage per hour is. Let's say you're young, like, let's say $20. So, yeah, and if you're an adult and have to pay your rent and support your family, then it's maybe a little more, I would say. It also depends on, you know, how sophisticated it is made. If you do like a hand painting, which takes a lot of time, it's more. And then you put a little bit on extra, like on top, so you earn something. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Do we have another question? Another question? I have a couple questions. Here's my question. How important is social media when it comes to branding your brand and growing your brand? Are businesses who are not on social media, not participating in social media, hurting their own brand? I'm going to ask Tobias. How important is social media for growing your brand?
It's very crucial. I want to come back to the last question I answered, because it's a way of being present without investing a lot of money, without having to invest a lot of money. You can for sure ramp it up by investing, but for starting, you're just investing your time, your ideas, and that's it. And it's very crucial, in my eyes, it's very crucial for being present, for showing your brand, for getting your space in the whole game.
Yeah, and back in the days, just, I don't know, so we are 25 years old this year, and just when all of that started, like YouTube, we just immediately jumped on that train and created videos. So yeah, I think it's crucial. You should start from the beginning. And this is also like, yeah, every social media
Thank you for that. We have a couple more questions. Any more questions? Do you have a question? Perfect, thank you.
I'm curious where the name came from. Why Black River?
That's a very good question. Where does the name Black River come from?
The founder and the other owner, so we are two people, but it's just me who is here. He is from Schwarzenbach, that's a small German town in the middle of Bavaria, and Schwarzenbach translated means Black River.
No.
This is where it comes from, and when he was young, I don't know, like 9 or 10 years old, he started skateboarding, and they called themselves the Black River Skate Crew, and when he started the business, he took that name, because it fit well.
Absolutely, great question. Do we have any other questions? More questions? I have a question for you. When it talks to sponsoring new riders, are we just talking about talent? Is talent everything when we're talking about new riders? Or what also goes along when looking for a new rider or a new pro for Black?
It's absolutely not only about the talent and the skills. It's about being present, as Cindy said. It's about being present, creating the scene, supporting the scene, helping the scene, being on social media, posting stuff, communicating with people, being present at events like this, showing up, being there. Way more than talent and skills. Did that answer your question?
Thank you for that. Question? Dave England, do you have a question? Questions. A couple more questions that I have for you is how often can we expect new ramps from Black River? How important is it to release new products? So not re-release products, but newer products. When can we expect a new ramp, a new obstacle, something new?
Like, we don't have like a fixed schedule or something. We try to bring out some new products every year, but mostly it's spontaneous. Like, either Martin has ideas for ramps, then we make a prototype and just bring them out. So usually we want to bring out new products before Christmas because most people want it and want to have presents from their parents. It's depending, like, it's not the same. Like last year we did the big release madness. I don't know whether you heard of that. So we brought out like a huge amount of new products, like from very small stuff, very small cheap stuff to expensive ramps. So there was something for everyone, and I think this year we want to kind of keep it a little lower than last year because it was very stressful. It almost, kind of killed us mentally. Just because it was so much work to release that stuff, to produce all the products, to do the advertising, etc. So this year we want to keep the focus on the 25 years of Black River, so we want to bring out limited ramps. We already started with that, and also we want to do some co-ops with, let's say, befriended friends, like people we know for a very long time, so stay tuned for that. We haven't started yet, and yeah, of course we have fast fingers, so our capacity is a little lower this year, but we are working on a lot of things.
Thank you for that. Any more questions? Jake, got couple more.
What are your top 3 favorite moments in the last 25 years of Black River? Your top 3 favorite moments in the last 25 years? Either or.
Everyone. It was 2009 Fast Fingers 12. Fast Fingers 12, when like Mike from Flatface came, like he came the year before, but in this year, like people from the US and the whole European fingerboard scene showed up, and there were like many people I met, or no, I haven't met over the years, but I was in contact with them, like writing emails back and forth, and just everyone came out, and it was a huge crowd, and the area, like the contest area, was way too small for everyone, and it was just like going through the crowd like that. That was one for sure, because I got to know everyone. The second one was our first US tour, which was in 2009 as well. Yeah, where we came out to Mike's Rendezvous and visited New York and Philadelphia, went fingerboarding and skating with the whole team. So we had a big van with like 10 people inside. Like that was a crazy thing. And the third moment, that's something totally different, but maybe when we had our first employee in the company. So when it started growing from just like being Martin and me, like the two owners running the business, from yeah, starting to have a real business.
Right. When was that?
That was in 2008.
2008.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I hand it over to Pila.
Yeah, that's a tough one actually, because there's so many memories connected with those tours.
Yeah.
It's that where you get to meet people, get to see new places through this little thing we all have in our pocket. Right? That's crazy.
Yeah, and also just in general, if you see us and have questions, you can ask us everything all the time. We're here to connect with people and hang out with you guys, meet people. So feel free to ask anything if something comes to your mind later.
But I think we did have a couple more questions. Is that cool? I think we have 3 more questions. Chris Daniels, Mr. Chris Daniels,
the legend himself. Awesome, thank you. Thank you for doing this panel. My question has to do with the events that you guys sponsored in the early days. What were they like? So like 2002, 2003, 2004. Just curious about what your experiences were during that time, doing those events, putting them on, and also like how did the German Fingerboard Championship happen? Like how do you get that all set up with 7, I think, contests?
Alright, we're just trying to figure out how that German championship went down back in the day. It honestly wasn't. It was quite similar to events right now, just on a very, very smaller scale. You can imagine, like the early Fast Fingers, for example, we had 20 starters maybe showing up. That grew from every contest to the next one. It grew, and also this circle where these people came from, right? In the beginning, it was really just the local scene that showed up, maybe someone from the next city or whatever. And then more and more people kept showing up from all over the country, from all over Germany. I remember my first Fast Fingers was Fast Fingers 4 or something. It was still only 30 starters, but I think there was already people from the Czech Republic being there. And soon, like, all the German-speaking scene came to this. Yeah, for the German Championship, as I said, we just tried to figure out how that went logistically. I don't remember. It basically was 7 or 8 contests spread out over a whole year, where you could gather points for the overall ranking. Denise just had something in mind to that.
Yeah, I mean, back in the days, internet was really small. Like, you know, there was no social media and stuff. So we basically printed flyers and posters and sent them to the first shop who bought ramps from us. So that was the way how to advertise the events. So it kind of went in circles. So first we just had a few German skate shops, then there were Austrian skate shops from Czech Republic, and this is how it grew somehow. The more people we were connected with, the more people came. But in the beginning it was just like a kind of local crowd. Advanced Fingers were the first local fingerboarders, and maybe from a few from Germany, a handful. That's it. And yeah, but we really try to do a lot of events because, as Phila said, we think it's the way how to spread the word about fingerboarding, or how we can engage people. So that was the main marketing concept back in the days, because there was no social media, right? Sending out flyers and doing events. And yes, and I think, I don't know whether it was the first rendezvous when we went to the US. Mike became a retailer in 2008, and he came with his dad to Fast Fingers, and he was so impressed that he wanted to start something here in the US as well. So and then Mike started doing events here, and now the circles were drawn all over the continent, I would say. So, yeah. Did this answer your question at all? Okay.
Thank you so much. I think we have 2 more, right? You got a question up front? Yeah? Okay. We have 2 more here.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
So, some of your guys' much older ramps, I'm thinking of you guys used to make this really big quarter pipe, and it had this sort of like a piece of metal at the base that's screwed into the quarter pipe. I really like that feature, and I really like the size of that ramp. That was it was one that I really wanted when I was 10 years old, and I finally got to acquire that just last year. I was wondering if you guys had ever considered re-releasing or going back and making ramps that you have made along this 25-year history as maybe a part of like a limited release. Like we're doing it for the summer. We make 200 pieces, you know, something like that to kind of celebrate that long 25 years.
Very solid question.
I'm glad you like the ramp. So we haven't planned it, but thanks for the input. So we might do it, like we already planned like those 25 years edition. So maybe not this year, but I think it has a valid point, I think. So I think, yeah, we will think over it, and yeah.
We do consider re-releasing certain ramps. We regularly get requests for that. Like the quarter pipe you mentioned, like the D-Rex ledge, like the A-frame, the Mike Schneider A-frame. It's always, like, you always need to think about it takes away production value from every other product we produce, and makes it kind of hard to produce more runs with it. If there's a lot of interest, we might consider. So we always have this in mind, but always try to gather requests. But I said, if there's there's a lot of requests, we might consider it. So thank you.
And we have one more question. There we go.
I'm curious, are there more girls in Europe?
What was the question?
She's asking if there are more girl fingerboarders participating in Europe.
I think it's kind of the same as it is here. It's mostly male human beings. Yeah, I mean, we try to make an effort and get people sponsored, but it's, yeah, I don't like it. But it's hard to find someone if there is no one, but we always try to cover the female team riders, and we are also looking for female team riders, but it's not that easy, as you can see here. But in the company we are more, there are more females, but they don't fingerboard.
I do feel like the female scene is growing, slowly but yet growing. Yeah. But as Denise said, we're trying to figure out ways on how to get more girls involved in it.
All right, thank you so. We got one more. Let's do one more. Is that cool? One more? Time for one more? Let's do it.
So my question is from a social media marketing and I suppose just marketing perspective in general. Have you found is the best way to get new eyes on the brand? Because you guys are already the largest brand arguably in fingerboarding. What do you think is the best way to get new, to target new audiences?
So he's asking, how do you get new eyes on a smaller brand, right? To grow your brand. So how do you get a new audience? How do you introduce a smaller brand to a bigger audience?
That's a tough one, and it's part of my daily job to try to come up with new perspective, try to see everything out of different angles, to get in touch. How would a person not related to this see it? It was funny, we were just last night and the night before, we were sitting in the lobby wondering, what if regular hotel guests that don't know anything about fingerboarding come into this, what will they think? And it's exactly that, right? Come up with this question and try to find an answer to this. Try to change perspective. See it from a totally different approach. Talk to people. That helps a lot. Talk to people that are not involved with it.
Yeah, and we also try to get in contact with kind of related other friends which don't do fingerboarding, like skateboarding, or we had the chrome kendama thingy, or we just yeah, whatever, like skills which are kind of similar to fingerboarding, so then you try to reach out to those scenes, and there might be an overlapping, or at least we hope that. So if you're interested in some kind of fine motoric, or if you have some fine motoric skill, whatever it means, whatever that can be, like those would be potential fingerboarders, I guess.
All right, thank you so much. This is CEO of Black River, Ms. Denise, and we have Director of Marketing, Mr. Tobias. Thank you so much for your time. We have, in about 30 minutes, we have our last panel, and it's going to be, is fingerboarding a sport? An open discussion. And a quick announcement. Somebody lost a fingerboard over there, and if it's you, you got to go to the slush booth tell them what kind of board it was, what kind of trucks and wheels, and they'll give it back to you. So if you lost a fingerboard, go check in at the slush booth.
Me, I was like, wait, I drove 2 hours, my girl drove an hour. An hour and 20.
No, I don't take it. No, I don't take it.
Alright, I'm open, man. Oh, no, I took that test.
I'm out of options. You got it, bro? Yeah. We had this already, right? Yeah, you already did that, right? Fuck. Okay, another one? Yeah. No? No. Alright. Oh my gosh, I just got a laugh. Now we have it. We got this, man. We got this.
One more.
Oh, so close. That was an awesome game. It took us so long. That was awesome.
This is the last panel of the day. This is going to be an open discussion in regards to is fingerboarding a sport? We have Mr. Scully on the panel. We have Mr. Cassius. We have Sid. We have Ollie, Mr. Hooligan. We have Chris Daniels. This is going to be an open discussion in regards to is fingerboarding a sport? Before we get into the panel, we have the homie Noah here who wants to make a quick announcement. So if y'all want to listen up for a moment, Noah, take it away.
Hey guys, what's going on? Sir, I have this Keen Ramps skateboard deck here that I'm going to be giving away, and I want to tell you guys a bit of what this board is. So, back home in Cleveland, Ohio, we got this guy. His name's Ed Hans. He teaches kids how to skateboard in a rural community where they have really nothing else to do. Recently, Ed got some really bad news shortly after finding out that his wife is pregnant and they just bought a house. Ed now has stage 4 cancer that has spread to his lungs and stomach. He has a GoFundMe that you can find through one of these QR codes. Carrying these around with me. If you guys donate any amount to my buddy Ed, then I will put your name in a raffle to receive this board from Keen Ramps that I originally won from one of Ed's skateboard events in his raffle. So I want to pass this along to one of you guys for helping support him. So come find me. I will pull those names probably around 3 or 4 o'clock. Cool. Thank you guys. Enjoy the panel.
Thank you. If you're looking to get this board, you can donate any amount. Come look for the homie Noah. Yeah, no problem. In regards to the question, is fingerboarding a sport? In order to answer that question, you got to know what a sport is. And Google defines sport as an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual team competes against another for entertainment, such as baseball and soccer teams. Having said that, I figure we can go down in a line here and answer the question. You can give your personal opinion on whether you think fingerboarding is a sport, and we'll open the floor and find out what you think, and we'll just have an open discussion, have a good time. So, Mr. Chris Daniels, is fingerboarding a sport?
So I do think it is a type of sport. So if yo-yoing is a sport, like they have it on ESPN, why can't fingerboarding be there too? That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree that fingerboarding is a sport. I don't think it's a sport, like a traditional sport, because with fingerboarding, anybody can basically just go to an event and sign up and compete. Whereas with traditional sports, you have to go through leagues and become either professional or so on and so forth. But I can see it going in that direction.
I think fingerboarding is a sport. No questions asked. There's no doubt about it. It is a sport. It's not some type of sport. It's not some kind of sport. It is a sport. Thank you for pulling up the definition. So it requires skill, no question. Fingerboarding requires skill. Everyone who has seen Stolly fingerboarding won't doubt that a single second. And then we're talking about physical exhaustion. I think this is where most people are like, does it? I've been standing all day, 3 days in a row. I'm physically exhausted. Thank you.
Hell yeah. I think fingerboarding it's not a sport. I would say it's not a sport, but I kind of see it, you know. But at the same time, I'm physically exhausted. My muscles are smoked, and it makes me really doubt what I think. You know, like I felt pretty sure of the fact that fingerboarding is not a sport. I mean, yo-yoing is yo-yoing a sport?
Chess is a sport, officially.
Esports. Esports ruin it really, because they're called esports, but it's not not very physical.
Yeah, I think like when Christopher reads out the definition of sport, it comes clearly in our heads that like everything he said was fitting also for fingerboarding. So probably it is a sport. So I think the same, because like if table tennis and some other activities are kind of sports, fingerboarding is the two.
Absolutely. So I'm glad that with the panel we got both sides of it. So we clearly have not a sport, we clearly have it is a sport. So my question to those who think fingerboarding is a sport, would you say that you would consider fingerboards athletes?
That's a good question. It's hard for me. When I think of an athlete, I think of something that's like super exhausted. So I wouldn't call a professional chess player an athlete, but I do think it's a sport. Chess is a sport. So maybe I'd apply that to fingerboarding. So I don't know if we're athletes yet, but that could change if the sport got a lot more professional. We get onto like ESPN, bigger events, we have a bigger crowd. Like Fast Fingers are the closest when we got there. They're really close to there. I would probably change my mind.
I mean, I actually do consider us to be an athlete, because an athlete takes a lot of dedication, practice, time, focus. If you don't have focus, you're not going to be landing anything. So I can see it in that aspect as being an athlete. I mean, people think of athletes like endurance. There's also a lot of endurance, I guess, involved in regards to what Ollie said earlier. Like when you have like 5-day events. I mean, sometimes you're going on 5 hours sleep a whole weekend. That's a lot of endurance. You know what I mean? So that would be my take on being an athlete.
I agree mainly with what Chris Daniel said. I think it's always the level of professionality that makes you an athlete, right? So I play tennis. I play tennis once a week. Does it make me an athlete? Probably not. Everyone who trains that every day, goes to competitions, plays that every day, is on top of his game, that's an athlete. So I think that we don't have like a stereotypical athlete in fingerboarding yet is the missing professionalism in the sport. Because everyone can say they are a professional fingerboarder, they are not. Because the definition of that is you so you make a living of what you do. There is no fingerboarder in the world who makes enough money to be a professional athlete. The only professionals in fingerboarding are the ones who have a company. Because they live off what they do, because they sell the stuff. So if there would be an ESPN level, and I like that you said when we get to an ESPN, not if, great choice of words there. So once this will happen, and there will be professional athletes that train every day and day and day and day in and day out, actually professional fingerboarders, that makes them athletes. And then there is no doubt about it being a sport anymore in my mind.
I don't think I'm an athlete for fingerboarding. I think it kind of degrades
the state of the word athlete. Like there's a lot in that word that I don't have. I don't know. I'm also kind of unsure of if it is a sport. But it doesn't really require athleticism. I don't know. It can't really be a sport, but I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence, honestly. It's pretty hard to decode the whole thing. There's too much to it. Is skateboarding? Yeah, skateboarding. I don't know. I need to think about it more.
Yeah, actually, I would also not say that I'm an athlete. So for me, it was like when I saw. What do I wrong, chef? Okay, like this. Thank you. Yeah. Like for the first question, I was firstly also not really thinking that it's actually a sport, but like when Chris was reading out the definition, I got it. But I would not considering me as an athlete actually. It's more like I fingerboarding because I was starting skating like a year before and was just hanging around, loving the lifestyle kinda. And that's basically for me it. Like fingerboarding is like apart from me, but I don't feel like I'm an athlete, or I don't want to like get a definition to that what I love actually. I just want to have fun, just want to fingerboard and don't want to name it or like frame it in this way actually.
I think fingerboarding doesn't need to be a sport. I mean, to me, I really appreciate that it sits outside of that zone of things. It doesn't fit easily into art or activity even. It's so unbelievably complex, and it's so multifaceted that I wouldn't want to see it just put into the same category as like all the other sports. It's too weird.
I think it's such a shame that Stolli doesn't consider himself an athlete, because if we come to the conclusion that fingerboarders are athletes, then Stolli is as close as it gets to the professional athlete.
Absolutely. And so I'm glad that the table's more leaning to fingerboarding as a sport. I'll be happy to inform my wife she's dating a professional athlete. This is no longer a dad bod. This is prime male physique in my sport of choice. All right, so how are we feeling though? So we started the panel. Are we thinking thumbs down, not a sport? So far, how are we feeling? Hot or cold? Audience? Sport? Sport? Dude, my wife is calling me. How sick is that? She just knows. All right, I'll call you later, wife. Okay, when it comes to, so we read the definition of being a sport. It talks about being competitive. Now that's kind of a hot topic when it comes to fingerboarding, because either you love the competitive side of it or you hate the competitive side of fingerboarding. Let's talk about the competitive side of fingerboarding and what that feels like. So, question is, in regards to it being a sport, do we feel like fingerboarding could possibly rise to the ranks of something like the Olympics? We just got skateboarding in the Olympics. Do we feel like this could be an Olympic sport? And how do we feel about the overall thought process of doing competitive fingerboarding?
So first I'll say never about that. That's a long journey for fingerboarding to get to the point where it can be an Olympic sport. Now, I do think we can get competitive fingerboarding as a hobby to be something that's more in the mainstream. I'm ultra competitive. I love competing. I really wish that I was like born over where you guys were born. I would have been in every single competition I could, and I would have tried to win for sure. Probably wouldn't have won, but yeah, I do think we can keep on growing our community. And it's not that fingerboarding is competitive, it shouldn't be, but having that element of competition really pushes the level of everything around it, and it's so much fun. If you've never competed before, it's so much fun. I love it.
When I look at it, I kind of try to start off with how skateboarding started. It being just an activity that kids would do, so I kind of look at that trajectory of where skateboarding started to where it's at right now. And I find if you take the fingerboarding timeline, we're at the point where when local skate parks were being developed and then they started having their own private little local competitions. I think fingerboarding is in that phase right now, if you want to compare it to skateboarding. But what I feel that it could use to get to where skateboarding is now is a lot more, like you said, media coverage and sponsorship, like major sponsors to host like major events, because that's really how the general public is going to get to know fingerboarding as the way that we see it. Because skateboarding became more acceptable when the general public started seeing it and saying, holy smokes, these guys really do have skill and they're basically athletes, you know what I mean? So that's the way that I see fingerboarding heading.
Absolutely, I agree with both of you, and I think here I see it the way that Kes said it. He said fingerboarding doesn't need to be a sport. Of course it doesn't need to be, and I think it doesn't need to be competitive. I think if I remember right, you said that the competitive level is that they compete for sport or for fun. And I think this is exactly, it describes fingerboarding perfectly. All that definition fits fingerboarding so well. Because there are these people that compete, they go to Fast Fingers, they want to become fingerboard world champion, they were at Battle at the Herrick's or whatever other big contests. And then we saw yesterday a lot of people who went to the rendezvous. And there is no competition, and yet they all play skate. So, or do you make a video part? Why do you make a video part? Do you compete with all the other video parts? Nah, think about it. Why do you really put it out there? So I think there is always a competitive level out there, but it may be competitive for fun. It may be to show your style, your thing, and just for self-improvement. You compete with yourself. That is the thing. And if you think fingerboarding is competitive, find me and play me in a game of skate. Then we get competitive.
Fingerboarding is competition is hard in fingerboarding, but that's a personal thing. I love a game of skate one-on-one. It's really important for fingerboarding. I think it's the same as skateboarding, really. We can take so much from there. I wouldn't be surprised if we had SLS fingerboarding on TV. I reckon if it was on, people would watch it, you know. But funding, SLS has a lot of funding. But I think it could be popular like that. Either way, I think it's a very integral part. I mean, in anything where you're like expressing yourself in that way, it's nice to have someone to kind of bounce off of and like share through it. Like, I like that side of it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's like when we play a game of skate yesterday. It's not like I want to beat up like Cass in a game of skate. No, I enjoy really to play a game of skate with all of you guys, because I can train some tricks you can do really good, and you can train some tricks I can do really good. It's more like this way around for me, especially. It's like I'd like to play a game of skate in skateboarding or in fingerboarding, just to also learn new tricks, like, and to learn from each other in this process. And this is for me all about. It's not about really the competition. It's more about the learning we can get from each other, also through the competition. And I would also say, like, for the question, can I see fingerboard in the Olympics? I totally agree with Chris Daniels, because never say never, and if table tennis can be like competition in the Olympics, why not fingerboarding? So, sounds like it could be ages when it's happening, but let's see.
For fingerboarding to rise to the level of being considered a sport, what is missing or what is needed in fingerboarding in the community to get fingerboarding to that level? Is the issue funding? Is it community support? Or what, in your mind, what would need to take place in order for fingerboarding to rise to the level of being considered a sport?
Great question. So for me, it's really, part of it's about the funding. We have those risk takers. There's one sitting right there, Levine Cunningham with USAFBL. Black River has the events. And there's a bunch of regional events. It's that we have the risk takers. Now it's about getting the funding to support the risk takers, getting money for advertising, marketing, making it self-sustaining. I also think coverage, I think live streaming, if we can find a way to make it insanely entertaining to watch these competitions, I could see people watching it on Twitch or YouTube Live. Those are probably the two main platforms. Yeah, that I would. Too much online? Oh, and Fast Fingers Online was so entertaining too. I tuned in to watch that. I made a little montage after too. Yeah, so that's my answer.
I'm actually going to feed off of what you said, because when it comes to sports, people like to watch sports that they don't even maybe do themselves. Like, I like watching baseball, I like watching hockey, but I don't participate in those sports. So when you're saying more coverage, I actually think that it should be coverage that's more general public, because if we post it online, really the only people that are going to be watching those are fingerboarders, people who already know about the sport, you know what I mean? So I think in order for it to grow, we need to get it out to the general public, and maybe people who aren't even skateboarding or fingerboarding will enjoy watching somebody do fingerboard tricks, you know what I mean? That's just the way that I see it. Like, a lot of people enjoy watching sports, but they don't participate in that particular sport themselves.
I totally agree with both of you. I'm the wrong one to ask that question because I already strongly stated that fingerboarding is a sport, so it doesn't need to raise to that level anymore. But I strongly agree with both of you. You said people, it's not about would people watch that, wouldn't people watch that. If you see the TVs, the sports that are on TV, poker is on TV. You know what poker is?
Yes, sir.
That's poker, right? They watch that. People watch that. So why not sit doing a kickflip? And that's where it comes to play what you just said. It just needs the risk takers, the people to bring it to the next level. Yeah, just someone to take it in their hand. And this is all about vision. Because only if you aim high, if you have a high vision, only then you can achieve it. If we sit here and we say like, no, that's never gonna happen, then it's never gonna happen, absolutely. But if we talk about this and say like, ESPN, 2 years, we're coming, then yeah.
That's the goal?
Okay, 2.5. No, but if we aim for that, then there is a way to get there. We may not succeed, but you lose 100% of the battles you don't take.
I think we live in a world now where it's kind of like, it seems like it's ready to go. I mean, of course it's not, but like there's so much room at the moment for small things like this, especially like with how much stuff we see on our phones. It seems like it's really perfect for that format, and like to see it right in front of you in that way. And I feel like it has just gained popularity so much over the years through all of that. I mean, I think the groundwork has been laid in a way, but I agree with Ollie, it's kind of risk takers. It takes a lot of work. It always takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time, and I'm patient. I think if we all everyone just keeps fingerboarding, it'll all happen.
Yeah, I just totally agree with all of you actually. I think we are on a good track. I remember that a lot of people last year at Rendezvous were saying like, this is the biggest rendezvous we ever had here, and yesterday the people were saying like, what, this is the biggest wooz ever was. So I think the scene in the moment is growing so fast and in a really good way that we maybe are on the track that, yeah, more is possible for our hobby, our passion.
Our sport.
Our sport!
Absolutely. And you know, it's funny that you bring that up about growing the scene, because that's my next question. So we talked about specifically what's needed in fingerboarding that would potentially cause it rise to the name of a sport, right? To be generally accepted as a sport. But let's talk about what would go into the support. How can everyone in this room, aside from showing up to events like this, posting online and becoming friends and filming the edits and stuff, what can we do as individuals to help push fingerboarding to that next level and keep fingerboarding growing?
Just thinking about this, I feel like I have like a tee right here with a baseball on it, ready to crush it. So for me, the most important thing to answer that question and in fingerboarding in general is to build others up, raise everybody around you up, and don't tear people down. When I was in the scene early on in the online community, we did a lot of tearing people down, and we were brutal on people, and we probably pushed so many people out of the community and scene that otherwise would have been like the next Taylor Rosenbauer or Mike Schneider.
To spark that conversation, and then that person can go and say, hey, you know what, I saw this guy doing this thing on the street with this mini skateboard, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I know those. Like, that's just how it's gonna keep growing. As soon as they see that you're a confident fingerboarder, then maybe they'll be like, hey, I should be able to be able to do this as well. Like when I started fingerboarding, I was 35 years old, 34, 35 years old. I mean, I wasn't a kid doing it, I started as an adult. And I just came out there and said, listen, this is what I love to do, I'm gonna share it with all of you. And it was, majority was, you know, embraced. There were some haters out there, as there are, but I just like, you know, just said, thanks for the view, and carried on. Yeah. Keep fingerboarding. Keep fingerboarding, 2 fingers, peace.
So, I totally agree with the both of you, and I think it's have fun, be friendly, be open. Everyone knows, that's the wrong choice of words. Everyone I know in fingerboarding tells me this is the most welcoming community they've ever been in. And so, let's keep it this way, and this is how we can make it bigger. But as we talk about sport, I think it becomes, or I think it is a sport, but I think it becomes less of a discussion. If it's a sport, the more we professionalize it. And if I think about this path, what we have to do to go down this path, it is of course to first make more competitions. So you guys out there in your community, wherever you're from, start something in your city, if there isn't something. And then, this is I think what a lot of fingerboarders don't think about. Then you write an email to your local media. Inform them about that. Advertise your event outside of fingerboarding. That's what we do. We organized Fast Fingers this year, and the list, I don't know, we wrote to 150 media stations. Here it is. That's what we're doing. And every year we have like, I don't know, 2 TV channels and 3 newspapers coming. 5 out of 150. Sounds awful, but it's out there. This is how it gets out there, and this is how people hear about it. Use the tools you have. Just think about how would a big event do it. And as I said earlier, aim high, dream high, and then you'll get there in the end.
What was the question? I think just keep fingerboarding. I think everyone should keep fingerboarding. If you don't fingerboard, you should get one and fingerboard and just continue it and share it with the people you know. Even if you think that they might think something, just show them and try it and see. If anyone really hates it and looks down on it, then why are you hanging out with them? Like, go find good people, you know? I've really learned that, like, when I was young, I used to hide it, you know? It used to be a thing that was just for me. And then, nowadays, it's just a thing that is for me and all of my friends. Like, I've shared it in that way. And it's great to be here in a space where, I mean, you can see it, the whole room is sharing this thing. It's like it's a beautiful thing. I think that's the trick. I think keep fingerboarding and share it. Just share it, like aside from socials and aside from promotions, like just even if you don't fingerboard, post it on something or show it to someone and just see, because it's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of you again. Yeah.
The last one.
Yeah, it's always tough to be the last one, sorry. What I have to say is, like Sid said also, go to the streets and fingerboarding and people will like show a reaction. And often you, like, because communication goes always both ways. And sometimes you think they're laughing or something, but maybe they just think about it, and when you talk to them, you actually get a better interaction with them, and then you can like maybe talk about it with them, and because often they are just like interested in it. Actually, it's just my opinion or just like my experience out of it, and then they maybe check it online. Like when we were at this one spot in Toronto, some people coming to us like, yeah, is this dash decking and stuff, and we were like, no, we are doing this for Black River, and we just like explaining what we're doing here actually, and he was checking it directly on his phone, like, and it's so cool. So if you get like to like what we also said, be kind to each other, and also like for me is always communication the key to interact with people in a good way and be patient, and yeah, and this is a good start, I would say. And also in my experience, how we all can be like part in growing the scene in our areas. I do now since 4 years, I do every year like a big competition in Germany, and so many people recognize me because I'm doing these competitions and always asking me more like about not me as a fingerboarder, just me as a like doing this contest. And I think it's really good to start also doing events by yourself to grow the scene, or that the people have also reasons to travel to another cities to meet other parts of the community and to meet other fingerboarders and have a session together. And like I said before, also like learning from each other in a game of skate or something else. I think that everybody could do, and we all should do it more in a good way. Yeah.
Thank you all for those answers. There's 5 incredible people up here who have done so much for fingerboarding. They have incredible minds when it comes to fingerboarding, from tricks to growing your companies to the history of fingerboarding to everything fingerboarding. Having said that, I have one more question for you all. Then we're going to get to your questions. Feel free to pick their brains, because this is your opportunity to hear from the absolute tippy-top, very best fingerboarding has to offer. Just to lighten the mood a little bit, here's a question for you. We talk about competitive fingerboarding. Let's talk about the proper etiquette for a game of skate. Are we going cutthroat first trick? If you know your opponent's weakness, are we going straight in with the hardest trick, the most vigorous trick? How do you approach a game of skate in a competition setting?
Depends who's competing. Like if I usually am pretty mellow, but if I know someone has beat me and they've bragged about it, no holds barred. Like I don't care, I'll kill them.
I mean, I very rarely play game of skates. I mean, I usually just play with one of my buddies, but we really know each other, so we kind of go cut through right from the beginning. But I'm saying if it's a new opponent, feel out your opponent, try to figure out what their weaknesses are, and then go for the jugular.
First of all, save your hardest trick for last. The hardest trick is where you win the game. If you shoot that out first, nah. And then a little advice from me, change up the speed. Ollie, fakey ollie, laser flip. Like this. It always catches people off guard. But I'm usually pretty mellow as well. When I see someone can't do a trick, I change it. I not do it in another stance. I'm not gonna be heel flip. Oh, you can't do that? Fakey heel flip. No, that's not me. If they do that though, that's the end of the game.
I think in a game of skate, I don't really think much about the tricks I'm gonna do. I see how I feel when I see the board in front of me most of the time. Kickflip, I'd probably start with a kickflip in most situations, like even if it's a tiny game of skate or a competition, I'd probably start with a kickflip. And I'd probably just work through the tricks I know. Inevitably, I'd probably do something like a double flip, which would hurt certain people. Certain people would be surprised by that kind of thing, but for me, it's kind of a trick I enjoy. But just I don't know, anything goes really in a game of skate. You can kind of do whatever. I'm cool with any old rules, you know, like it can go any way, but sometimes you have to really stick a finger out and pull some tricks out that you didn't think you were gonna have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, actually I totally agree with Ollie. Because for me, like I said before, when I play a game of skate, I don't have really in mind to win this game. It's more like I also just want to have fun and see what you kind of trick skills you have, and then I like to try them too. And I sometimes also like to try it in your style, you know? You can do like a kickflip, maybe like wheelie popping high, wheelie popping low. And I like to get this experience, like you doing your tricks. And I just want to have it like the same. And so for me it's more, if I see somebody can't do a heel flip, for example, I don't go for the fake heel flip. I just would also change the tricks. But I would also say, like, if it's to T or something and it's just the last trick, I sometimes also like to go crazy.
Just the mic.
Shout out 6K for that. Love you. Fingerboard Con 2, everybody.
Thank you, Vito, for having us. Yeah, this actually was everything I want to say.
Absolutely, sounds good. Having said that, let's get some questions going. What do we want to know? We're talking growing the scene. We're talking fingerboarding is a sport. Well, are we convinced fingerboarding is a sport? Not a sport? Dude, look at us, bunch of athletes. Look at us. Look at us, a bunch of athletes. All right, who got a question? You got a question up front, let's go.
What's your general opinion on fingerboarding?
So I believe the question was general opinion on fingerboarding, right? So for me, it's such a wide thing, but for me, it's about itself as a hobby, something that you can do anywhere. And you can get a fingerboard for as cheap as like $2.99 at your Target. It's like the best hobby ever. It can be inexpensive or as expensive as you want. And then you can meet so many people around the world, which to me is the most exciting part about it. It's the best hobby I have. And I'd be hard pressed to find a hobby that is as engaging and easy to just do on your own free time as fingerboarding.
The way that I generally feel about fingerboarding is the main thing is do it for fun. Don't do it for the views, don't do it for the likes, don't do it to get sponsored. Do it because you love it, and then everything else will follow. Fingerboarding is frustrating, stressful, fun, requires skill, mental strength. It's a sport.
It's not a sport.
It's community. It's competition. It's creativity. I love it.
Generally, fingerboarding, I love fingerboarding. That's kind of it. Like, I love all of the different sides of it, because it's insanely full. Like, it's a really full thing. Like, there's so much to dissect within it. Like, it never gets old. I never get sick of, like, seeing my fingerboard. Like, I guess that's a big part of it. It's like, you identify through this thing that you create, you know, slowly over time through use and through decision making. Generally, I love fingerboarding. Like, I think everyone has the opportunity to be able to do that. But also that, you know, some people lean further in than others, and there's some things that people love about it that I'm not too bothered about, and the other way too.
Yeah, it's really a complex like hobby, I would say, because a lot of people, I have, for example, a friend in Germany. He enjoys more like to build obstacles actually than to fingerboard it itself. He's always like, when we are at contests, he's like just looking out for the spots and for the parts, like, oh damn, I have to do it also. And it's also part of the hobby, I would say. But his passion is more on the like building obstacle side, not on the actually doing it. But for me, like, fingerboarding is really my...
I'm not tripping, right?
Okay. Sorry. Just by it's
Don't
just
panic.
me, like the mic goes off, the light goes off. Fingerboarding for me is just really my passion. It's some days like it's on my daily base that I do some tricks where I'm feeling stressed, and it really calms me down, and it's got really part of my life. So I just can't really say more than just it's my passion. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And nobody panic about the lights. We're all a bunch of athletes here. Whatever's going on, we can take it on. All right, what's going on? We got any more questions? I know you got the questions.
It's almost impossible to have this panel and Levine not chime in on this. I mean, it's to be expected. All right, so I love coming to events. I started the United States Fingerboarding League basically to get people in rooms like this to share fingerboarding. I started the league. Basically, I'm a huge competitor. I love being competitive. I think competitive fingerboarding is definitely something that needs to happen, regardless if people want it to happen or not. I feel like there's definitely a want and a need for it. I come to events basically just to connect, have fun, meet people, but I very rarely get the opportunity to ask people, my peers, what do they think about USAFBL, what we've been doing, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, how does USFBL look, and how does it fit into fingerboarding? That is my question.
Great question, Levine. I am so psyched about what you've been doing. I know it's been an uphill battle for sure, like traveling around touring, but it's, when we were talking about risk takers, you're like the definition of one. And I know you've had some learnings from the first tour to now over the time. And I think you're building something that's going to be really special, right? What I like to see, I think the live streaming, if we can get funding, right? That's number one. Making that production quality for a live stream or something, getting it out there. That would just bring so much more awareness to it as well. That would be my opinion on that. But I love what you're doing. Huge fan of you and what you're building.
Same, Levine. I think you're doing a really great thing. I know it's called USAFBL, but last year you actually branched out and brought it to Canada, which, thank you for that, brother. That was amazing. I really appreciate you for that. And so you brought it to the city of Toronto, so there was a great showing. A lot of people came out. What I would like to see, if possible, because I know this is a toll on you just to organize it for the States, but is maybe also branch out to a little bit more of Canada, because that would be amazing as well. And again, because you already have built this tremendous name with USAFBL, that I'm pretty sure that if you branched out to other cities in Canada as well, that people would attend to those events also. Appreciate you.
I got my big boy pants on.
I'm just joking. Come on. So we talked about how do we get there. You asked us how do we get there, and it is exactly that part. You professionalize it, then you get media coverage, then you get sponsors, and so on. Then we're on ESPN. The big end goal. This is not an advertisement or a TV channel, by the way. So, if you ask me, I'm in the scene now for 21 years or something like this. So if you ask me, we have all been thinking that this is the part, this is the part. 21 years we're thinking that, and then you come and you just do it, huh? That's perfect. So you have the perfect foundation. You came, you saw, and you conquered, and you did it. What I think you can do better, you and me can talk about this because it's a long list of what I think you can do better, but in the end it's your competition. You have gone on the right path, you're on the right path, and you can talk to all of us and all the people, and everyone will have advice, but then you need to filter. You need to decide, this advice is for me, this advice isn't for me. That is not judging the advice. You can think it's all good advice, but you need to filter, right? So in the end it stays your competition, your tour. But I think you're definitely on the right path, and I think there are things to improve, but that doesn't take away from going there. And you said it to me in private. I hope I can say it out loud here. You said to me in private, I want to be there. I want to be on ESPN. So what I said, aim high, go for it, you got it.
From what I've seen, USAFBL seems
when I first saw it, I thought, oh, it's like Street League, but for fingerboarding. And I think because I'm from quite far away, I haven't been to anything. I haven't had that many personal involvements with it. I think this question is perfect for someone like Ollie. He's done a lot more events than me. I haven't done that many in my time. But I mean, Street League for fingerboarding, like, to me that was it. And it's amazing to see that somebody's doing it, you know, and like, I mean, it's just, it seems perfect, really, you know, from what I've seen.
Yeah, actually, also I just can't say really much from the business side, because my profession is I'm a social worker and not in some like business, you know. But what I see like on Instagram and everything, that your tours looking amazing, like so many people showed their up, you really catch them kind of like with all this competition. It's so good that you delivered like the parks in a place where people come and enjoy this hobby together, and this is the best thing you can do actually for the scene. So I think you're on a really good track, and I also like your creativity with or that you like to try something new out, like also the combo of the year thing and everything. I really appreciate something like this in fingerboarding, because it was also missing, kinda. So yeah, it's super cool.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Lyon, for the question. Do you have any more questions? Anything else we're looking for? Is fingerboarding a sport? Maybe not a question, maybe your opinion. Is fingerboarding a sport? And they want to stand up, share their opinion, any experiences, any more questions? Going once, going twice. Fingerboard Con 2, Stolly, Cassius. We got the Hooligan, got Sid, we got Chris. Thank you so much. That's it, that's the rest, that's it for the panel.
Sorry, I have one more announcement. Thank you very much, Chris. First of all, give it up for Chris. Thank you for hosting these panels. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
And we, Black River, as one of the organizers, we want to thank, of course, everyone involved. So give it up for Six Skates. Thank you, Six Skates. Give it up for Slush Card. Thank you, Slush Card. Baby. Thank you to Flatface, who are hosting us. Thank you, Flatface. Thank you for all the vendors. Sorry, I'm not going to name you Singolina. But thank you all the vendors. And thank you all the panelists. Thank you very much. And thank you. And I want to thank everyone who came out today by giving you a discount from now on till the end of this event today. 25% discount on all Black River products. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, fingerboarding.
I stepped outside to get some water. Fingerboard Con number 2 is amazing. Met a lot of people. Met a lot of people again, like that I met in Booze or at the first FB Con. It is all around amazing. I recorded most of the panels. Missed a few seconds when I was swapping out batteries because the GoPro was overheating, but I caught a lot of it. I'm super excited to share this with everyone.
Bro. How many times you got TC Junior? How many times have people asked you for TC Junior?
Every so often.
Every so often?
Yeah.
You got that collector guy?
Uh-huh.
I'm telling him, collector guy. You know, the guy got all the guys in Black River boards and all that. Oh yeah, TC Junior.
Yeah.
The hair looks similar.
I am him.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, that is me.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's actually you?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
me.
that's sick, dude.
Yeah. Nice meeting you.
I wonder how much he's down to get that. That's funny.
Yeah.
The other one out of there.
Here, hello, hello. That's his actually.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just leave it down there.
Go well,
What are you getting now, John? Shut up.
5%
John, you already got enough of those, dog.
Apart from the Fingerboard Con special. But everything
this-
else, truck, fork, wheel, trim,
Sully.
25%.
Is this grip tape in this? Is this rip tape in the? Is what's in this box?
Yeah, it's a limited edition rib tape for the Fingerboard Con.
Wow. All you had to say. I'm gonna take these.
Talking about John.
Yeah. I'm gonna take those. Take it easy.
Yeah, I get what you said.
No way. Happy you made it out this year, Jaden.
Oh yeah, man. I'm happy I made it out as well. Oh, see?
Devin, you're here.
Shit. I know. Yeah, I was putting myself in every position. I was doing that shit, dude. Oh man, dude.
Devin was gonna come whether he liked it or not.
Yeah, I still remember. I'm over here like, yeah, John. I'm thinking about taking a Greyhound up there. I was set. Like I was. It was just gonna be me, my bags, and a Greyhound for.
Yeah.
I think it said it was like 3 days. Yeah.
Jeez.
Where would you be sleeping on that?
On the bus. They pull over onto the side and then you just like sleep. I mean, if the weather's like horrible, then yeah, then they pull over to the side.
So like, is it like beds in there or like?
No,
Is it seats?
Yeah, seats. It's like a very. I mean, when it's packed, you got fucking. You just gotta get lucky. Like in a seating row where it's not too fucking crowded. Wiggle. That one down there seems to.
Yeah, that one's moving. That one's moving like a lot, actually.
There we go.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Fuck a pry bar.
Yeah. Okay, well.
Wait. It's splitting
here.
It's splitting.
You know what? We can.
Good.
Oh, that one's.
Yeah, this
Well,
one's fun.
but we got this that we want.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if we can salvage
There's
some
a
of
stack
it.
of wood that you can put back in the shape.
Yeah.
Basically. Ooh.
You should take a picture of this.
Well, in worst case
Just take a
scenario,
picture of it before we
this
Yeah,
one here you
get a
could
picture of
measure
the
another
frame
Well, no,
one.
we just measure it and
We'll get another copy of them. that
Yeah.
fails.
There we go. Because realistically, we only need a few to level out the
Yeah,
park,
yeah.
right?
And then the rest just need to sit on top of it. There we go. Okay. Well, we did that.
Shit.
Oh, they roll once you start pulling on them.
Oh. Look at those fucking screws, dog.
No.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way this is gonna.
Pry bar out.
At least take care of that, bro.
Yep.
Kel, you're
Watch your
on.
foot, watch your
You're
foot,
on.
watch your
here.
foot. Oh, it's on the.
Just wiggle it. Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
But I mean, there was no other way.
We'll put it back together.
Gotta get to Texas somehow.
Yeah. Sacrifice a few legs. Oh.
Yeah, back and forth, baby.
Oh shit! It folds.
Look at that.
It's a
folding
collapsible table now.
Maybe we just fucked that table up. We just fucked the structure up. Oh god. Holy shit, dude.
Sounds like we fucked you up.
You know what, bro? It may have winded me, okay? Oh damn. Oh shit. Surfing on the floor.
Them boys figure it out.
Yes sir, we fucking manhandled that shit.
After booze, after FB Con, after sesh. I'm tired. Hey. How's it going, Vito? How are you still standing?
I took a little nap.
Oh.
We ate and I took a little nap. Oh yeah, we had to eat real quick and recharge real quick. Recharge. Yeah. But I think it's bedtime in a bit, for sure.
My body's in shock. I don't know how I'm standing.
I was in bed and my legs were humming, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to sleep much tonight.
Yeah.
Take like a Tylenol or an Advil or something. Gang.
What up?
Oh, the gang.
Yeah. I'm here for clips.
Dude, I was told you love the tape. I'm glad to hear it, man. I'll send you some packs if you just do it.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I have no problem doing it, especially because I fucking ran out. So.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, just shoot me a message and I'll send you some.
Sounds good. We'll do. Yeah, for sure. Take it easy. What up? We get some more time together.
Your name isn't TC.
Jonathan. Yeah, my name's Jonathan.
Jonathan?
Well, my name's Jonathan. People call me John.
Okay.
Or whatever. My middle name's Eugene. People call me Gene. Just call me whatever.
That's what
I'll
it's
answer.
Gene.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate it. Rocking this.
Improv. Saw that finger. They want to show. I guess this is it.
Oh, you're not filming?
No, it is filming.
You're
Take
filming?
it easy. Yeah, it's filming.
TC Gene, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe.
Yeah. You heard the man.
Yeah. When are you guys going back?
Nice meeting you. My name's Dylan.
Dylan.
Yeah.
It's all good.
No worries.
It's like the fifth time I'm telling you goodbye today.
Definitely. Yes.
You leaving too?
No, multiple
Oh,
people
they're
have talked
kicking us
about
out.
like
Yeah.
Rip Art. I'm like Rip is talking.
All right, take it easy.
Good to see you.
Take
Talk
it easy.
music. Fuck around. Later, Jonathan. Later, man.
Love you. I'll see you.
One heard.
Next time.
Next time.
It's
great meeting you, man.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
I know who I want to take.
Oh, they're going in.
As usual, Chris, take it easy. It's always good seeing you, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor though. I'm gonna need you to stop taking all my content, big guy.
I'm not gonna do that.
I'm not gonna do that.
Huh?
I hope you will. Yo, you know what?
But yeah, hold on me. I'll get up to you. I'll get up to you. Hey, hey. We have a date for an event. I'll holler at you guys for sure.
Sounds good.
Every time me, it's like that, bro.
The hounds will be unleashed.
Oh, thank you.
No. Give me that photo. I will. I'll send it. Yeah, later, guys. Ready?
Yeah.
Till next year. Bye.
I'm planning on doing it.
All right, I got it. We're done. Yeah, we're done. We're done. Y'all leave all. You didn't see nothing. You saw nothing.
We're just trying to connect decks, you know what I mean?
The real fingerboarders of TikTok?
But not tonight, early in the morning. There he is.